Did you know that small changes in your body can predict how many years you'll live? Today, we'll tell you how these signals can open the door to a long and active life. Maybe your body sent a subtle message, an unexpected ache, a twist of stiffness, a moment of breathlessness that never used to trouble you. These small shifts can feel easy to ignore. After all, you might tell yourself, "I'm just a little off today," or "I must not have slept right." But often, they're signs your body is quietly saying, "Pay attention to me. I'm changing, and I need a new approach to stay at my best." That's the essence of secret or hidden signs of aging. Gentle cues that whisper for you to adjust your lifestyle, even if nothing dramatic has gone wrong. Many folks believe aging only shows up in gray hair or wrinkles, or in that moment you realize you can't lift something as easily as you used to. Yet the body's transformation is far more nuanced. It communicates through things like how you digest your food, how well you sleep, how quickly you bounce back after a busy day, or how you handle unexpected stress. The challenge? We all lead busy lives, and by the time we're over 60 or 70, we might have grown accustomed to pushing aside those gentle alarms. But noticing them now can save you from bigger issues later. Even more importantly, it can renew a sense of excitement and vitality in your daily life, proving that, yes, you can still feel strong and capable, even as the calendar pages turn. Below, we'll explore 5 of these hidden signs. Each one might seem small, but it can carry enormous weight in how you feel, think, and move every single day. And the best part is that if you spot these signs and make timely changes, whether in your diet, your exercise, your mindset, or your schedule, you can often prevent them from escalating. In doing so, you open the door to an aging experience that's far more energetic and uplifting than many people imagine possible. By shining a light on these subtle signals, you honor what your body has done for you all these decades and equip it to keep going with grace. Let's dive in. One of the quietest signals aging can send: you find yourself more fatigued by everyday tasks than you used to be. This might not mean feeling exhausted all the time, but noticing that after grocery shopping and bringing in the bags, you need a moment longer to catch your breath or rest your arms. Or maybe after tidying up the kitchen and doing some light vacuuming, you sit down and think, "Wow, I'm more worn out than I expected." The shift can be gradual, so at first you brush it off. You assume, "Well, I didn't sleep much last night," or "I must have moved more than I realized." Yet a week or 2 later, you notice the same pattern. It's not that you can't do these tasks. You can, but they leave you feeling more drained. That's your body hinting that the energy reserves you once had might be a bit lower, or that you need new habits to keep your stamina up. Think about Linda, who's 74 and has always considered herself fairly active. She'd do laundry, sweep the porch, maybe even run a quick errand, all in one sweep of the morning. Lately, though, after returning from her short errands, she finds it harder to jump into household chores without a break. She noticed enough times that she started feeling frustrated, even questioning if she was just getting lazy. But she wasn't lazy at all. Her body was sending a legitimate request for more thoughtful energy management. Linda decided to split her tasks into smaller segments, giving herself a 10-minute breather between them. That break might be a glass of water or a few minutes of stretching. After adopting this new pattern, she realized she could still accomplish everything she wanted, just with a bit more pacing. She ended her days less tired, her mood was better, and she found that a little tweak in how she used her time went a long way in preserving her energy. That's the real insight. If daily tasks are leaving you more drained, it might be time to refine your approach. Instead of completing all chores in one burst, break them up. Instead of walking for a full hour without pause, consider 2 30-minute walks or a short walk in the morning and another in the evening. Small changes help keep your tank from running empty. And ironically, by pacing yourself, you often accomplish more overall. Instead of collapsing after an overwhelming spree of tasks, you maintain a steady rhythm, sustaining energy throughout the day. That's the power of reading these quiet cues. You gain back control over how you spend and restore your energy, rather than letting subtle fatigue define you. Another sign that often flies under the radar is a shift in your sleep quality that doesn't match the common stereotypes. Typically, when people talk about insomnia, they imagine lying awake for hours trying to fall asleep at bedtime. But older adults sometimes face a trickier pattern. They drift off easily enough, only to find themselves awake at 2 or 3 a.m., feeling oddly alert or dozing on and off without ever fully returning to deep rest. Or maybe they remain asleep all night, but wake in the morning with a sense of grogginess and stiffness, feeling as though the rest wasn't truly refreshing. These variations might be your body's way of saying that its internal clock, circadian rhythm, is shifting, or that it needs new evening rituals to encourage deeper, more consistent slumber. Meet Carl, who's 69. He generally has no trouble putting his head on the pillow around 10 p.m. But for months, he found himself opening his eyes around 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, with his mind wandering. Sometimes he'd fall back asleep after 20 minutes. Other times, he'd stare at the ceiling until dawn. During the day, he started feeling more grumpy, noticing headaches he never used to have, or sneaking in an afternoon nap that threw his evening schedule off even more. Finally, Carl tried changing his bedtime routine. He turned off bright screens an hour before bed, replaced them with soft reading or relaxing music, and dimmed the lights in his living room to send his brain the signal that bedtime was approaching. He even practiced some gentle stretching to loosen his back. Over a couple of weeks, he saw an improvement. He still occasionally woke at 3 a.m., but he found it easier to return to sleep or just felt more deeply rested overall. That small shift in nighttime habits made a huge difference. This isn't magic. It's about respecting how your physiology evolves. Melatonin production can drop with age, so if your environment and habits don't reinforce the right signals, like darkness, calmness, and a sense of routine, your sleep can splinter. And when you aren't sleeping well, you're more vulnerable to other hidden aging signs, from irritability to weaker memory. Good sleep is a cornerstone of health, especially in your later decades. So if you see changes in how you rest, or if waking up unrefreshed has become your norm, it might be time to experiment with a more intentional evening wind down. That little bit of care can transform the quality of your nights and your days. A third subtle sign: how your body reacts to certain foods. It's remarkable how many older adults say something like, "I used to eat anything without problems, but now a big, greasy meal just sits in my stomach for hours." Or, "I never had to think about spicy foods, but nowadays I wake up with heartburn if I have chili for dinner." These statements might seem minor, but they're the body's gentle nudge that your digestive system has changed. Perhaps your metabolism has slowed slightly, or you're producing less stomach acid or fewer digestive enzymes. Whatever the underlying shift, ignoring your body's new signals can lead to discomfort, poor nutrient absorption, and even a negative cycle where you start avoiding foods you love because you're nervous about the after effects. Consider Janice, 71, who always loved a late-night treat of ice cream. For years, it was her go-to indulgence after dinner. Recently, she noticed that whenever she enjoyed ice cream after 8 p.m., she'd lie awake with mild reflux, feeling her chest burn. She tried switching brands, thinking it was the formula. Then she tried cutting the portion in half. Still, the discomfort arrived. Finally, Janice realized that what worked for her body at 50 didn't serve her well at 71. She decided to move her indulgence to mid-afternoon, pairing the ice cream with fruit and a bit of water. This simple change allowed her body enough time to digest thoroughly before bedtime. She kept her beloved treat, minimized her discomfort, and discovered that being mindful about meal timing was the key. And guess what? She found she actually enjoyed her treat more when it didn't keep her up at night. Adapting your diet to changing digestive sensitivities doesn't mean giving up everything that brings you joy. Instead, it's about becoming more aware of triggers. Maybe for you, it's high-fat meals, or large portions late in the evening, or certain spices. By experimenting, like shifting your main meal to midday or eating smaller, more frequent meals, you can often reduce discomfort while still savoring a wide variety of foods. You might also lean into foods that support digestion, such as yogurt or kefir with beneficial probiotics. The trick is listening to your body's messages about which foods or meal timings create stress. Embrace that knowledge and tweak your eating habits accordingly, letting your digestive system enjoy a smoother ride. That small but impactful shift can help keep your energy levels stable throughout the day and night. Next, let's talk about memory lapses, those fleeting moments where you walk into a room and forget why, or you set down your reading glasses and realize you have no idea where they went. These episodes happen to everyone sometimes, but if you find they're becoming more frequent or more frustrating, it might be a sign that your mental processes are craving a new level of care. It's easy to assume that any memory slip must be a sign of serious decline, but that's not always the case. Often, older adults juggle multiple concerns: health appointments, finances, grandchildren schedules, medication routines. With so much swirling in your brain, short-term memory can get overwhelmed. And if you're not sleeping as well or feeling more stressed, those fleeting "why did I come in here" moments will multiply. Look at James, 76, who prided himself on remembering every friend's birthday without a calendar. Lately, he noticed he missed a couple of important dates, and he felt unnerved. Was something seriously wrong? After all, James had always been known for his sharp memory. But in truth, James had started volunteering at a local community center a few days a week, picking up extra responsibilities and tasks. His life was busier than ever, yet he hadn't recognized that added mental load. As a small adjustment, he began writing down to-do lists and important reminders on a notepad he kept in his shirt pocket. He also started doing quick crossword puzzles and word searches, enjoying them as daily mind workouts. Within a month or two, James saw an improvement. He felt more organized, missed fewer birthdays, and found those silly memory lapses were less frequent. The mental friction he'd felt began to clear as he embraced these new habits. Maintaining mental sharpness doesn't require drastic changes. Engaging with simple, brain-challenging activities like puzzles, reading new books, or learning a skill keeps those neural pathways active. Social connections also stimulate the mind, so meeting a friend for coffee or joining a local club can do wonders for memory. The goal isn't perfection or zero slip-ups. Everyone misplaces keys sometimes. But if you sense those little blankouts are happening often enough to frustrate you, consider it an invitation to weave more mental engagement into your routine and reduce background stress. When you do, you'll likely find your memory is more agile than you realized. Finally, there's the fifth sign: mood fluctuations that seem out of place. You might suddenly feel a mild but nagging sense of sadness in the afternoon, even though nothing in particular went wrong. Or you find yourself snappier at friends or family, reacting to small annoyances with bigger irritation. These shifts could be tied to changing body chemistry. Hormone levels can alter in ways that affect mood well into your 60s and 70s. It might also reflect reduced social contact if you're retired or living alone more than you used to. We're social creatures at every age. So if your days lack some of the engagement they once had, your emotional balance can tip more easily. Case in point, Harriet is 73. For decades, she ran a local business, thrived on daily interactions, and kept a busy schedule. After selling her company, Harriet looked forward to slower mornings. She thought she'd savor having more personal time, but she realized she was getting restless, occasionally even teary, in the late afternoon. She couldn't pinpoint a reason. She was healthy, had friends, kept in touch with family. Yet something felt off. Harriet began volunteering at a community garden once a week, planting flowers and chatting with neighbors who came by. That small commitment gave her a sense of purpose and helped her connect with people regularly. Over time, Harriet noticed her bouts of irritability and gloom lifted. She wasn't forced to fill her day with frantic activity. She just needed that weekly anchor of belonging to keep her spirits steady. Her mood improved, and she found she had more energy for the quieter parts of her life too. Our emotional well-being often ties closely to how we manage stress, isolation, and day-to-day challenges. Little mood dips can be normal, but if you sense they're more frequent, it's worth exploring how your lifestyle is changing. Are you seeing fewer people face-to-face? Are you skipping your beloved hobbies? Or have you drifted into a routine that lacks meaning? Sometimes the fix is simpler than you'd guess. Scheduling a weekly meetup with a neighbor, trying a new pastime that genuinely excites you, or adopting small mindfulness practices. Even giving yourself permission to express emotions, like writing in a journal or sharing how you feel with a trusted friend, can lighten the load on your psyche. And remember, you can always speak to a counselor or a medical professional if you sense your mood dips are more serious. The point is that, just like physical health, emotional health often needs an updated approach as we grow older. By now, you can see how each of these 5 signals, fatigue from everyday tasks, shifts in sleep, digestive changes, memory hiccups, and mood fluctuations, are deeply interwoven. If you're fatigued, you might struggle more with mood. If your sleep is off, you might be less resilient in the face of stress. If your digestion is giving you trouble, you might not absorb nutrients as well, affecting your energy and your mental clarity. That's why noticing one clue can lead you to pay attention to another. In addressing them together, you can create a synergy that lifts your overall well-being. Imagine weaving new habits around these clues. Maybe you begin each morning with gentle stretches to get blood flowing, easing stiffness and giving you a small dose of movement. Then you look at your meal plan and add a bit more protein and fiber at lunch, skipping heavy foods right before bedtime. By early evening, you commit to turning off bright screens half an hour before you tuck in, letting your brain wind down properly. On weekends, you schedule a short meetup with a close friend or neighbor to keep your emotional tank full. In your spare time, you do a fun puzzle or read a new type of book to keep your mental gears turning. None of these changes are huge or expensive, but combined, they build a framework that supports every aspect of aging well. Some folks resist acknowledging these hints because they're afraid of what it means to be getting older. But the reality is, none of us can freeze time. Our best move is to adapt with grace and curiosity, to say, my body is shifting, so how can I continue living in a way that honors it? Many discover that paying closer attention to these small signs doesn't limit them. It actually frees them to continue doing what they love with fewer discomforts and more enjoyment. That's the beauty of early intervention, whether it's about your diet, your activity, or your emotional world. It's also worth noting that aging can bring about wonderful changes too. Deeper wisdom, a fuller sense of perspective, and often a liberation from certain stresses of earlier life. By adjusting lifestyle habits in response to hidden aging signals, you keep the door open to all the positive qualities that come with more years, like patience, empathy, and a stronger sense of what really matters. Some older adults say that once they addressed their hidden signs, like being proactive about their energy or improving their sleep quality, they felt a new lease on life. They became more confident in traveling, spending time with family, or trying new hobbies, precisely because they'd learned to listen to their body's messages instead of ignoring them. It's also fascinating how these subtle signs can help you catch potential issues early. For instance, noticing that you're unusually tired might prompt a check-in with a healthcare provider. In some cases, it could reveal something like low vitamin levels or early heart concerns that can be managed effectively if found early. Or if you sense your mood is off, a simple conversation might highlight that your thyroid levels need a tweak. The more tuned in you are, the more you can collaborate with medical professionals to stay on top of health changes, rather than waiting for them to become more serious. That's part of the gift of noticing the small stuff. It's an invitation to be a partner in your own wellness journey. Of course, everyone's experience with aging is unique. Some people see big changes in digestion, but never have trouble with memory. Others might find sleep issues to be a real challenge, but rarely notice mood fluctuations. The key is to treat your experience as valid, paying attention to what resonates most in your life. If you find yourself reading about certain hidden signs and thinking, yes, that's exactly me, it's your body tapping you on the shoulder, encouraging you to try something new. If another sign doesn't apply, that's okay. Celebrate that your body isn't struggling in that area. Regardless, the overarching principle is the same. Stay curious, stay flexible, and give yourself permission to experiment with solutions. One powerful approach to exploring solutions is journaling. You don't have to write pages and pages. Just a few lines each day about how you slept, what you ate, your energy level, and your mood. Over a couple of weeks, patterns often emerge. Maybe you realize that on days you got on a 20-minute walk in the sunshine, you felt more mentally alert by evening. Or you see that the nights you ate dinner after 7:30 p.m. were the ones you tossed and turned. You might spot that you're consistently short on water intake, leading to midday fatigue. It's amazing how these small data points, taken together, paint a bigger picture. Journaling can cut through guesswork and show you real correlations, letting you fine-tune your lifestyle in ways that pay off big. Another resource is community. Whether it's a close friend, a church group, a senior center, or an online forum, sharing your experiences can spark new ideas and remind you that you're not alone. If memory hiccups have you frustrated, maybe a friend suggests a wonderful brain training app or puzzle group. If your mood's been low, perhaps a neighbor invites you to a weekly gathering. Sharing frustrations and triumphs about aging often fosters a sense of solidarity. And sometimes, laughter, because these hidden signs are incredibly common. You realize, oh, everyone else also has nights they wake up at 3 a.m. for no apparent reason. That sense of shared humanity can ease worries and bring renewed motivation to find workable changes. No conversation about adjusting one's lifestyle in later years is complete without touching on self-compassion. Many older adults grew up in an era of pushing themselves hard. No complaining, no resting, always forging ahead. While resilience is admirable, sometimes it morphs into ignoring the body's messages. Being gentle with yourself isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It means acknowledging that your body might not recover from a busy day or from stress as quickly as it used to, but that with kindness and a bit of planning, you can still do meaningful activities without running yourself into the ground. It also means letting go of guilt if you need more downtime or a new bedtime routine that's earlier than it once was. There's no shame in changing your schedule to reflect who you are now, not who you were at 35. And ironically, that very kindness can unlock more energy and engagement than you thought possible. Once you allow yourself the grace to rest or to say, "Today, I need to pace myself," you might discover that tomorrow, you're actually more productive or able to do more of the fun stuff. Attuning to these hidden signs is sort of like tuning a delicate instrument. At first, you might only hear small disharmonies, a slight ring of tension, a mild sense of being off key. But as you adjust, the instrument resonates more beautifully, producing a richer, more harmonious life experience. That's the payoff for heeding the body's whispers. All in all, these 5 hidden signs, unexpected fatigue from daily tasks, evolving sleep patterns, changing digestion, minor memory lapses, and shifting moods, carry far more significance than they appear to on the surface. They're not red flags that you're doomed to a downward slope. They're signals that your body is evolving and wants to partner with you in that evolution. The key is to see them not as inconveniences or reasons to despair, but as teachers. Each sign gently points to a specific area where a modest lifestyle adaptation can have an outsized impact on how you feel day to day and year to year. And if you follow those hints, you can maintain a sense of momentum, purpose, and joy well into your later decades, enjoying time with loved ones, exploring hobbies you love, and even discovering new passions you never had the space or time for before. Aging gracefully doesn't mean you never face challenges. It means stepping into each new season of life with honesty about what your body needs and a willingness to make small, caring changes that keep you vibrant. That approach transforms the experience of aging from something to fear into something to navigate thoughtfully, like a road trip where you pay attention to the road signs, adjusting your route as necessary for smoother travel. After all, you've spent a lifetime gaining wisdom. Now's the time to let that wisdom shine on the inside as well, guiding how you treat your remarkable body and mind. If these ideas resonate with you, consider taking one step forward this week. Maybe you set an alarm to remind yourself to do a bit of stretching after lunch. Or you shift your biggest meal from late evening to mid-afternoon and see how your digestion reacts. where you simply call a friend you haven't seen in a while and set up a coffee date because you realize your mood might be hinting that you need more social connection. Every action, no matter how small, becomes a statement. I'm open to learning, I'm open to growth, and I value the quality of my life right now. You don't have to implement everything at once. Start with the sign that feels most pressing, maybe the fatigue that's been troubling you or the restless sleeping pattern. Tweak a few things, observe how your body responds, and then move on to the next area. Over time, those cumulative changes create a fresh lifestyle that truly supports you. And in the end, you might marvel at the realization that these so-called signs of aging were actually gifts in disguise, showing you exactly where to focus your attention to keep living with vitality. That's a beautiful perspective, seeing your body not as an adversary, but as a wise partner that reveals its needs in subtle, heartfelt ways. So here's to embracing those subtle, secret signals and using them as stepping stones to an even more rewarding phase of life. May your days be filled with comfortable movement, sounder sleep, meals that leave you feeling nourished, not weighed down, mental spark, and emotional warmth. Aging may be inevitable, but how you respond to these quiet cues is entirely within your power, and that can make all the difference. Thank you for spending this time with us, and remember to subscribe, like, and share your own experiences in the comments below. We love hearing how others adapt to these subtle signs and transform them into catalysts for a richer, fuller life. Because ultimately, we're all in this together, learning and growing at every age. And there's no better way to honor our bodies than by listening and responding with kindness, curiosity, and hope.